It's time to become the best version of yourself and help others do the same. It's Monday morning and we're talking success.
Hello, Soul family. Jordan Peterson coming at you live here from the Soul Studios in rainy springtime, Pleasant Grove, Utah. It was crazy. Last week, Friday, Saturday, it's like we break records with 80-degree weather. Today, it's like 40 and rainy and snowing in the mountains, but springtime in Utah, you gotta love it. I hope you guys are having a great time wherever you are at and you had a great weekend. Happy Tax Day. I know for a lot of people, this is just a day that we don't really like, but you gotta look at it from an optimist view. Hey, we had an opportunity to make some money last year, so we have an opportunity to pay a little bit of taxes, make this world a little bit of a better place, hopefully. Just don't worry too much about where that money's going, and I guess you'll be fine, right? Ignorance is bliss in that. I apologize for my voice a little bit. I'm a little bit under the weather, but we're going to power through this today anyhow. And man, I just hope you guys are having a great time. So today is April 15th. As I mentioned, we're almost halfway done with the month of April, which is awesome. So many good things happening right now, and it's fun to see. I had the opportunity to travel to California over the weekend and do a Spark meeting out there. And it's just always fun to get and be with the people in the Soul family and spend time and get some hugs and just talk about how we can make the world a little bit of a better place. So it's just such a great time. So welcome to all of you that are here with us. As always, if you haven't already, make sure that you chime in so we can see you, that you're out there, so we can get your name into the bucket of fun. See if you can win some swag. You can kind of see it hanging out over here. The last little while, we've been doing some mystery boxes and whatnot. These look like mystery bags, if you ask me, but the mysteries only can go so far because they're kind of see-through. These are those great beach bags that allow the dirt and sand and everything to fall through. And man, I'll tell you what, Kristen must be feeling like in a given mood today. Must be tax day, maybe that's why. And just wants to give away a ton of stuff because we've got some great things going on here today. You can see this one doesn't even fold over, it's so full. And this one as well, it's good to go. So these things are so great because they're so collapsible. If they don't have anything in them, you can just throw them in your car and use them for anything. Have an emergency bag in there in case you need to do something. But great for doing any activities and parties and beach things and all that good stuff. So great thing there. Or just going to the swimming pool. We like these because you can throw your wet towels in there and then just make everything else wet. It still kind of airs out and dries them out, which is great. So Corinne says she loves those bags for the beach, which is great. That's what we're looking forward to. So we'll give one away to our SN Sweeps folk, and then we'll give another one away for those of you who are on live with us, and we'll get you taken care of. I got a great little bucket here for SN Sweeps. We got the big bucket of fun for those on live with us, so we'll make it work, right? Perfect. Seashell Pony's like, I love the bags. Give me one. I hope you're feeling lucky. Maybe we will. Maybe we will. We'll see. So Tanya wants to take hers to the mountains this weekend, which is perfect. Rose is a little more responsible than the rest of us, wants to use hers for groceries, which is the best way to do it too. Perfect. So anyway, we got that going on. As always, we love to recognize those that are inviting new members into the Soul family, no matter how they get it done. Today, we're going to focus on those that are bringing in new members as enrollments. So these are people who have either purchased a trial pack and now have enrolled, or just go straight to the enrollment of ordering a package or products from you. And so we're going to get our list of 10 going right now. Starting out at number 10, we got Miriam Alvarez. We've got Olga Ibarra Nunez coming in at 9. At 8, we got Dioselina Manjares. We've got Teresa Choc coming in at 7. We've got Melissa Chavez coming in at 6. Eduardo Lopez coming in at 5. And round out the top 5, we've got Maria Ramirez. We've got Ana Idoran. We've got Maria Padilla. And last but not least, coming in at number 1 for the week is Lisa Manchester. Well done, Lisa, coming in at number 1. So good. Welcome. It's just congratulations to all those that are bringing people in the Soul family, and welcome if you're one of those new people. We love having you on here. So good. The average enrollment for the past week was $198.86, just under $200, which is great. As we've talked about all the time, the more products you're on and more consistent you are with them, the greater the benefits you're going to see. And that's why it's so awesome to have something like a trial pack that gives you those 5 drinks. Let them try them out, get the benefits of those moving forward. There's just enough in there to let them start feeling better, and then they're able to transition that to figure out what they really want and get. So such a great way to do it. Speaking of trial packs, I have to give a special shout out to old Miss Chris Hedrick in Kansas. She has sold 22 trial packs since the end of February. So really at a month and a half, 6 weeks, 22 trial packs. Man, that's almost 4 per week. That's more than 1 every other day, which is awesome. And so good things happen in there. Just a little shout out to Chris Hedrick for that. And the cool thing about 22 trial packs, I mean, that's $220 right there just for that. And then when they enroll, she gets another 35% of that for SoulQuick for the enrollment order. I mean, you can't beat it. It's fantastic. So also, we have a great testimonial I want to share with you as well. This is one of those things that's just awesome. It says, I'm a busy mom of 3 kids and of course deal with weight gain, lack of energy, intermittent sleep patterns, stress, you name it, as a mom. However, I'd be lacking in caring for myself. Since beginning Soul, I no longer crave coffee and have supplemented it for my coffee. I also find myself having more energy without a 3 p.m. crash. Let's be real for a second. The biggest difference was realizing how irregular my bowel movements were in comparison to now, thanks to Cinnamate. All the way around, I've been quite pleased with what I've tried. How awesome is that? And that's something you're gonna see. There's some key things you talk about in there, right? Lack of sleep, no energy, not taking care of herself, even inconsistent bowel movements, all those different things. And when she started taking these products, I'm sure she wasn't like, man, I really hope this helps me out in all those areas. Mostly they're just looking to feel better. And then they're able to really document in specific ways how they're feeling better as they continue to move forward in the soul journey. And then they look back and they forget what normal used to feel like for them because the new normal is so much better, right? And so that's such a key thing. So keep talking to people, keep sharing with people, and these testimonials are going to keep rolling in, and we're going to keep getting energized by reading them and seeing the lives that we're changing, which is what it's all about, right? You're not really selling things to people. You're just helping them solve the problems that they have, some of which they even forgot they have, and just plugging those holes for them and putting them in a spot to be able to be successful moving forward. And that's really what this is all about. So many good things there. We also we're jumping back into Essence Sweeps again as well. This is a great way to share. So many people are just so nervous about talking to people in person, or they're like, I don't know how I can reach everybody that I want to reach. Well, they have great followings though on Instagram, social media, Facebook, whatever it is, Twitter. And that's just an easy way to reach out and talk to people. And you can even, the nice thing about it is it can get those incognito followers, right? There's a lot of people watching you that are curious about what you're doing. They've been watching for a long time. They're curious if you're going to stick with it. They're curious if your experiences are actually as good as you say they are, because we know everything on social media is a little bit of an enchanted fairyland as far as the truth is concerned. So they're going to watch and just see how it works out for you. And then through your consistency, they're going to say, hey, God, looks like you got something going on. Let's see what you got. And then they're able to move forward with that. So we got a great one coming from Instagram today. This is Kristen Brunius talking about what she does.
Start with a blend of frozen spinach and berries. Then I add my favorite collagen enhanced protein powder. Next, my microgreen powder and blend. This is an insane amount of protein and vitamins and minerals and an easy way to get your collagens and protein in.
Perfect. So those who are maybe just listening and not watching that, she's making a healthy smoothie there, right? And in her comments on the side, it says, I'm all about fast and easy, and with today's foods, it's so hard to get the right amounts of vitamins, minerals, protein, and collagen builders. On top of that, trying to build gut health, immune health, mental health, and do it in a way that tastes good and doesn't break the bank. Is your mind spinning? This is super easy way to get an insane amount of nutrients, and it's delicious too. Comment FAST for links to these powders and my discount code, right? And then right the top one, right? This looks so good. Is that Royal or a different powder, right? People want to know what's going on, what you got going on. So that's a great one, right? All right, next up, we also have a post from Rosa Nunez, which is wonderful. Tying in the family connection with this is just fantastic. It says, our family loves these herbal drinks. My son can't swallow pills. So the liquid form is a perfect, and we no longer need to hide it in his favorite beverage as he enjoys taking them directly now. If there's someone with specific requirements within your household, would you consider giving these amazing product line a chance too? And then it shows the trial box on the side and some of the benefits you're seeing there too. So just a great way to share. Just puts you in a great spot. And we love bringing in the families as well, because that's just a perfect testimony right there. That's the thing. All of these are just testimonials that you're sharing with people. They're just not maybe written out as a normal testimonial, right? And that's what we love to see. So well done, Rosa. Love you guys and the way you're sharing these things. So last week we talked a little bit about maybe some struggles or some things that we see with leadership for introverts and also extroverts. The thing we realize is you're going to talk to people and you're going to be like, this isn't for me. I'm really introverted. I don't like to talk to people. I don't want to do anything. And you're like, well, you can absolutely do this, right? The same amount of challenges are there for whether you're an extrovert or an introvert. They're just different, right? And really being able to help people and move them forward and influence people for the better. That's really what we're trying to do as leadership here in the Soul. So talking about some things about people that would consider themselves to be an extrovert. If you're out there, talk to me. What do we got? How many of you consider yourself an extrovert? Last time we did this, it seemed like most people like to consider themselves an introvert. Good ways to differentiate between the two. Introverts, they get drained when they're around a lot of people. It kind of wears them out. They can usually force themselves to do things, but they don't find it to be super energizing. Extroverts, on the opposite, man. They get energized by being around people. They're usually a little bit more loud and like to form those a lot of relationships with a lot of different people, right? And so you'll see that too. So Wild Biome says she is both. That's probably true, Veronica. I see that, right? Tammy says she's a pretend extrovert. That's interesting. So there's a lot of different ways we can look at that. So, and last week, like we talked about being an introvert. If you want to go check that out, still on our YouTube channel, you can see that. Let's talk about some strengths of people who are high in extroversion, is what it's called. So the extroverts, right? It says people with high extroversion tend to relate well to others and are often well liked in their teams and offices and their groups they're with. They form quick and easy friendships, and their outgoing nature leads to effective group work, right? Says there are some key things here, bullet points. They're really good at remembering names and faces usually. They tend to be straightforward. They communicate easily with a variety of different people. They work well in group settings. They invite others to participate who might be less inclined, right? They're kind of keeping an eye out for the group, want everybody to participate. They're upbeat, chatty, able to speak publicly. They're confident in social settings. That comes across as charisma oftentimes. They're usually very determined. They like to take charge, get things done. And they're highly self-reliant, and they like to become a leader, right? So you look at that and you're like, well, what could be wrong with that? That sounds like what we need. Let's do that, right? Well, there can be some struggles with all that. And like I said, same with introverts. Like people love introverts. You can usually form really strong connections with them. They're like small groups of people, usually very trustworthy, very sympathetic and empathetic usually, right? And so you're like, man, those are great too. So there's great characteristics amongst all of us, right? And as we're seeing here, pretend extrovert, I'm both, I'm a mix of both. People are saying, I think I'm a combo, right? There's all those things. We find that we have traits in both of them, and both of them can work for what we're doing here in the Soul. You can be a leader with both of those characteristics or all of those characteristics and put us in a great spot, right? So here's some things that we need to be just aware of if we consider ourselves to be an extrovert, right? They're often unable to make emotionless judgments. And the thing you find with most judgments anyway and the choices that we make, they're all just emotion-based. And then after we make them, we use logic to justify why we made the emotional judgment anyway, right? They may value too highly the validation of others. So they may be a little bit of a people pleaser. They want to make sure everybody likes them. And so they're going to make choices to kind of lean that way, even if they don't fully believe it. They have a tendency to get lonely, right? We talked about they like the energy that comes from group settings. And if they're not in those groups, what happens? They get a little bit lonely, right? They can be too intense or lively, especially if around the introverts. Introverts are like, you are sucking the energy out of me. And the extroverts are like, I'm feeding off of this, let's go, right? They may struggle to concentrate on what others are saying. They're thinking more about how to answer and talk about whatever than they are really listening to connect, right? And so there's things they need to work on there. They can also be socially unaware because of that, right? They're more focused on kind of being the life of the party and can miss out on some things. They may appear too confident, which some people can find to be a turnoff. They desire to spend time in the company of others, and it may affect personal work. Extroverts are the ones that would rather just chat and hang out and be with people than actually get down to the nitty-gritty and get things done. So we all know people like that as well. They may attempt to do more than can be realistically completed in a time frame, and they may struggle to complete projects, right? So those are all, we talked about pluses and minuses of both. There's some things that people who consider themselves to be extroverts need to be aware of. So what do we do if we consider ourselves an extrovert, and how do we move forward? Some tips, okay? Ask yourself often, why am I talking right now? Why am I talking right now? Am I doing it just because I want to be heard? Am I doing it to prove a point, to tell people how smart I am? It's a tricky thing because especially when we look at having a lot of experience in soul or anything that we have, we tend to want to just kind of cut off the questions and be like, I got the answers before you even ask it, so let me just tell you real quick, right? And that can be a thing we got to be careful of, because it can make people difficult and they think we're not listening to them, right? We need to provide space for other people to contribute, especially when we're leading a team or an organization. We feel like we can just get it all done without them, and it puts the people below us in a position of like, why am I even trying? Or they're like, man, this is the greatest thing ever. I don't have to do anything. And then the leader at the top gets frustrated because they're like, why aren't you doing anything? Come on, we need you to move. We need you to work. And they're like, you've never made me do this before. Why do I have to do it now, right? It can create a balance here that's really difficult. So what do we need to do? We need to ask more questions and really listen. We listen for the intent to understand, not to reply. That's always a good thing, right? Be careful of what you say. What you say carries a lot of weight. And so oftentimes extroverts like to think out loud, right? They're just talking through things. They're like, well, we can do this, or we can do this, or we can do that, or da-da-da-da. And they can come across as being really indecisive. And so people in their groups can be like, man, don't put that person in charge because they're all over the place. So if that's you, if you like to think out loud, make sure that you let people know and be like, hey, I'm just gonna brainstorm here for a second. We can do this, we can do that, like kind of work through it. If you're around a lot of introverts and you're doing that, it can really weigh heavy on them according to this. They're like, man, this guy is all over the place, gets killing the energy here, what's going on? So if you can kind of give people a heads up of, hey, this is what we're doing right now, I'm just gonna brainstorm out loud, tell me if you like anything about it, that can usually help as well. And then also, be careful with oversharing. Oftentimes they can unintentionally reveal confidences or things that were told to them that aren't supposed to be shared. And so make sure you're just aware of that as well. Again, the number one question, really this is the best for all people in general. Ask yourself, why am I talking right now? And if you come up with a good answer, you're in a great spot. If you can't, stop talking, and you'll be probably in a good spot there too, right? Oh, Nella says, sounds like ADHD. I have it and it can be like this. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I don't know anybody that doesn't have some of these same characteristics, right? Regardless of where they're at, right? Anita says, I used to think I was an extrovert, but as I get older, I feel more introverted. It can absolutely do that as well. Rachel says she's a people pleaser, right? That makes sense as well, right? We can all do that. Dolores loves to make people laugh and smile, which is wonderful. That can be an introvert or an extrovert, by the way. That's awesome. O'Nelly says, I do overshare all the time. There you go. Some of them, we're reading through some of these and everyone's like, I think that's me. Oh, I think that's me. Oh, and that's why they do that, right? Christy says, oh, I love that. Why am I talking right now? I need that. Yeah, right. Rachel needs to work on talking too much. Yeah, there's all these things that we can work on. We're just trying to make ourselves better, right? We're talking success, Monday morning talking success. We're just trying to find ways we can become better and improve our relationships with others and hopefully help your businesses and organizations grow. And just being aware of this stuff is like 90% of the issue, right? The solution to 90% of every problem is just being aware that there is a problem, and then we can come up with a solution fairly moving forward easily and put ourselves in a good spot. So there's your thought today. Let's go ahead and get you guys some swag as we get out of here and carry on with our Monday tax day. I hope it's not too, hopefully a lot of you got some money back at least, so it at least feels like you got something going on, right? That's what it's fun. You get tax-free money back because they don't tax you on it. That's a good way to do it. Here we go. Let's go ahead. We got 3 things here. We're gonna start left to right. We're gonna start with our SN Sweeps folk. How do you get your name in here? Just post something during the week, tag SN Sweeps, hashtag SN Sweeps in it, regardless of what social media platform is. We'll pull it in, put your name in the box or the bucket. Excuse me. Everybody that posts, every time you post, you get your name in here. So there's multiple names in here for each person, right? So it's a good way to do it. So here we go. Who's feeling lucky today? Claudia's feeling lucky. Let's go. And the winner is Rosa Nunez. Rosa Nunez, look at that. We showed your thing and you actually won. Maybe there's a connection there. Let's make sure we get you taken care of, Rosa. Well done. Get that sent out to you today. We got the last 2. These are for coming on live with us as well. Here we go. And the first winner is Kim Fick. Kim Fick back in the winner's circle again. She has amazing luck because it feels like Kim wins quite often. So well done, Kim. And last but not least, as you can see, I'm looking at all your comments right now. Seems like we got good stuff going on. the winner of the last one is Betty Runkle. Betty Runkle down in the Houston area. Congratulations, you got yourself one as well. You're close enough to a beach, you could use that, which is always good. We got California represented, Texas. At least have some waterfront property down there, which is awesome. So anyway, thanks for joining me today. It's so good to see you guys and be with you. I hope you enjoyed your commissions that you got paid. If they didn't hit on Friday, hopefully, or they should have hit before the end of the week, right? Then we got our weekly commissions went out on Friday as well. So we got you taken care of. So as always, keep sharing soul. We sure love you guys, and we'll see you again soon.